People didn't believe in me, didn't think that I would be able to do anything.
Welcome back to the fifth quarter powered by LBA. Today's guest is not a star nor a superstar. He's Rony Seikaly, aka the Spin Doctor. Rony, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor for myself, for the LBA team, and for the basketball community.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. How is Rony?
I'm good. I come and visit the country all the time, and I happened to watch the finals in Doha the other day. That brought me back 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was good to see everybody back in action and how the level has changed and stuff like that. So, it's nice. It's nice.
That's good to hear. Do you keep up with the Lebanese basketball or not really?
I don't. It's hard to keep up with Lebanese basketball in the States. You don't really have updates except, if you're on Instagram or something like this, but you don't really get the games to know exactly what to look for.
Yeah, that's why I want to give it like a special shout out, because you said that to the LBA team. I don't know if you know about it, but we have an app now called LBA, and we cover everything that's related to the Lebanese basketball. It might be the latest news, the podcast, even like helping the young generation grow and like educating them on what's basketball.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So if you want to download it, go ahead.
I will.
Yeah,
And it's an app or is and
it's an app. It's an app.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have like the Instagram page, and we have this podcast to boost it.
Yeah.
Rony, the older generation, we all know who you are, but for the younger generation, can you take us just briefly through your career, how you started?
All I can tell you is that I started where everybody else started, down at the bottom.
Exactly.
People not believing in you or in me, and in this case, people didn't believe in me, didn't think that I would be able to do anything outside of my little pond, which was at that time in Athens, in Greece.
Okay.
And I've always had my eye on the prize. I always wanted to be in the NBA, and I just didn't care what anybody had to say.
Mm-hmm.
I persevered. I worked hard. I had great discipline.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to take a no for an answer. If I had to go through this wall to get there, that's what I did. So people think it's luck. Well, it can't be luck if you're the first Arab.
I was about to tell you that, yeah.
To make it to the league. And at the time, probably one of the first Asians as well, or Europeans. It's not like the game is today. So no, I'm very proud that I was kind of a pioneer of my time, and I was able to basically open the gateway for others to feel that they have
a chance.
They have a chance if they work hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people want a chance, but they don't want a chance that comes with working hard.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the States and I had to compete against other high school basketball players, and at the time I hadn't gone up against that kind of talent, and I said to myself, I'm going to kick everybody's ass, and I'm going to leave here, with people knowing what my name is. Don't forget, back then we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of this stuff. So the only way to get noticed back then is you have to go to a basketball camp where all the best high school players go, and then you have all the college coaches watching all these high school players, and then they pick and choose who they want and who they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, I realized that I've got something. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
I got something. So I got scholarships from all the colleges. Everybody was like, kind of like, I just didn't understand what was going on, tell you honestly. I just didn't, everything was happening so quickly. But at the time, all I had was crazy athletic skills. I didn't have basketball IQ. All I know is that I was faster, quicker, can jump higher than anybody. And then when I went to college, I got a scholarship to go to college. At the time, we were living in Athens, and Panathinaikos, the team in Athens, had offered me a contract to stay, and I said no. I'm going to go to the U.S. and play in college because my dream is to make it to the NBA. And they said, "You're crazy. These guys will eat you up alive."
I love that.
And I said, "Okay, we'll see." And I made sure to go and eat them up alive.
That's tough. That's really tough. You know, because I kind of relate to your story somehow, because I was a young kid here in Lebanon, and I started basketball late. I was probably 13. Made it to the national team under 14, and I saw I had a lot of potential. So I asked my dad, is it cool for me to go to the States? That's how it happened. And I went to high school and got recruited to play college. And it was tough. Like you said, like, they're ready to eat you alive. You got to be built for it. I know a lot of people that tried to go there, but hard work wasn't their priority, so they couldn't make it. So I also fought hard to get the scholarship. So I totally relate to what you're saying.
It's if you want to make it in life and you want to really make it in life, there is no easy way to the top. You're gonna you go up the stairs. First of all, there's no elevator, so you take a couple of steps up, and then somebody kicks you off, and then you fall back down, and you get yourself back on your feet, and you try to get 3 steps up, and somebody else will kick you down. And the more you get kicked down, and the more you fail, and the more people stop believing in you, the more you believe in yourself, because you know that if you've put in the hard work, your time will come. I truly believe that if you really, really work your ass off and you get yourself prepared, when you get the chance, that's where luck happens, because you've already prepared and now you're getting the chance, and this is where luck happens. Sometimes you get the chance when you're not prepared, and that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
So,
Rony, after getting all those offers, why Syracuse?
I wanted to go to Syracuse because the stadium. We played in front of 35,000 people every game. So playing in front of 35,000 people, and it was it was always on television. So all the games were on television. We were in a league called the Big East. So that league in itself was the most watched league in the US because the rivalries were so strong. So my freshman year, I went up against Patrick Ewing, and all those players. So the rivalry started early on.
Then you got drafted after your
my senior year.
senior year? Okay.
I got drafted. I was the number 1 pick for the Miami Heat. And that's, we went to the finals in college, and we did all that. We had an amazing run in college. We were always ranked in the top 1, 2, 3, 4 in the country. And college basketball was the last time you feel that you actually play for the name that's in the front of your jersey, right? As soon as you get to the NBA and you start realizing that the NBA is a business.
It's a business, yeah.
Nobody feels so bad for you. Nobody feels sorry for you. You're just a commodity. You're like a thoroughbred horse. If you get anything, if you're not optimized, you're going to be in that barn waiting to get shot down, or they send you out, or they ship you out. So there's no feeling of remorse, or, you know. So that's where I felt that you got to. This was the first time I felt that I was a minority in a game. You know, it was predominantly all a black sport, and here I am, not only as a white guy, but as a white guy that's not even from the U.S. So I didn't have the easiest of times, but again, it's all about perseverance, and it's all about believing in yourself. If you believe in yourself, then you go. You go.
That's how you earn their trust, believing in yourself.
The way you earn people's trust is by showing them that you're not there for to collect a paycheck, or if you're not there. You know, you got to show your effort. You got to work hard. You got to leave everything on the floor. People will respect people that work hard. And if you're talented, people will have to respect you, because now you're talented and you work hard. A lot of the times, the guys that work hard are the guys that are not talented. So you respect them for the fact that they work hard, but they just can't get you to where you need to go. And sometimes you got extremely talented players that are lazy asses, and they don't get you anywhere. So you don't respect them.
Exactly.
So it's a funny thing. It's all little tweaks here and there.
True.
But it was an amazing journey.
Yeah.
It was an amazing journey, and you know, I look back now and think to myself, like, when I watch games, I think I just don't understand how I was one of those guys on the court playing in front of all these people and playing in front of millions of people on television, and having these shots with the last second, you know, it's second on the clock. I'm nervous watching the game, and I can't imagine how I used to play the game. So it's been amazing. Honestly, it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful that I got to do what I wanted to do.
That's so nice. Rony, after making a set for your name, after having like your name up there, like Rony Seikaly, oh, we're playing against Rony and the Miami Heat. Who was your toughest matchup?
My toughest matchup always was Akeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
So Akeem Olajuwon is, you know, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he is by far the best athlete, the best 7-foot athlete I've ever faced.
Okay.
And I've played against all of them.
Okay.
I've played against Shaq, Patrick Ewing. I played against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I played against Karl Malone, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. I mean, I can't even remember all the names, but I played against all of them. And Olajuwon just had that one extra thing where he was just very, very light on his feet. He had extremely good footwork, and you could never know what he decides to do with the ball. Usually we study players. We know exactly if you move your left eye, I know where you're gonna go. You know, we just studied the opponent so much that we know exactly what he's thinking before he's thinking it. And so that was, you know, I know how to play. You know, when you play against Shaq, you got to play him a certain way. When you play Patrick Ewing, you got to play him a certain way.
For sure.
David Robinson.
Yeah.
You know, you cut off that side of their game, you may get lucky and they may not have a good game. With this guy, there's no bad guy. He can go left, he can go right, he can do this way, he can just step back, he can fade away, he can come in, he can dunk on you, he can do all these things. So, yeah, by far he was the toughest challenge for me.
You know, it's funny you said Akeem Olajuwon because I actually went to represent him in China because he was opening a school with Batir, the Chinese guy. Do you know Batir? I think he was the first Chinese guy to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I went, he picked me with Jaren Fox that's playing for the Sacramento Kings. We were probably 7 or 8 players to represent his school. Went to China with him. It was like a great experience for myself. Played against a professional team in the MasterCard there. And I had the chance to walk with him on the Great Wall of China, and we had like a hour conversation. And he actually speaks Arabic, a bit of Arabic. Yeah.
No. The
So-
craziest thing is that he's very religious. He used to do his Ramadan.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
would come to the games and he hadn't eaten, you know, and
That's
you
crazy.
know, he's as solid as you can get. You know, Shaq is absolutely a beast, but it's a different animal. You know, Shaq is just, you know, you're giving up 4 or 5 inches, which is what, 10 centimeters, and you're giving up at least 120 pounds, which is another 50, 60 kilos. So it's like me playing against somebody who's that much smaller than I am. So
Myself.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, you know, when you get to that level, everybody, you know, especially with those stars, you know, with those superstars, you go into the game hoping that they just have a bad night. You can't
Yeah.
really stop anybody.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to hope that, you know, they're just having a bad night, you know, and then if you can add to it a little bit, or maybe, you know, do something where, you know, you kind of frustrate them a little bit more, that's basically what you can do.
What about Michael Jordan?
Michael,
Curious.
well, I mean, unfortunately, I had to, fortunately and unfortunately, I
Yeah.
mean, I think in my whole career, I would say there was only 2 or 3 players that I got caught watching them play while I was on the court with them. And obviously Michael's number one by
Yeah.
far, right? You just kind of get caught watching him because it's just, he did whatever he wanted to do. You couldn't, and then you just kind of, either you become a poster or you just try to do something, right?
Yeah.
The other one was Larry Bird, and the other one was Magic Johnson. So in Larry Bird's case, he's the only athlete that I've ever played against that talks shit before he does anything. Like, he only backs up the shit that he's talking. Usually players talk shit after they do something, right?
Yeah.
He did it before and runs back and says, I told you so, right? So he had that special breed of being a highly intelligent basketball player, and made everybody around him that much better. And he was just you just get caught watching him play because he just does everything for the right reasons, right? But Michael, you know, there's a big debate between LeBron, Michael, LeBron. I think LeBron is a Magic Johnson 2.0, and I think Kobe Bryant is a Michael Jordan 2.0, right?
Yeah.
So the comparison between LeBron and Michael makes absolutely no sense, because LeBron is more of a Magic Johnson type, you know? Michael is a guy that he's like a shark. He's like, if he smells blood, he's just coming and just gonna make sure that
gonna eat you.
nothing of
Yeah.
you is left, right?
Yeah.
The other superstar players, they see blood. Sometimes they take a step back because they think that, hey, we got him already, and they take a step back. So there's that extra chromosome that Michael has. And don't forget that in the league, when everybody's that good and that talented, 90% of the stuff is up here.
Yeah.
So if you're good here, you can outsmart everybody and you can outpunk everybody,
Yeah.
and you can do whatever you want. Obviously, if you have the skills and the talent to back it up.
Yeah. Do you have Michael Jordan's number?
Do I have his number? Meaning, did I?
Are you still?
Oh, no.
Are you still in contact with him?
No,
With
but
the guys?
No, but we're friends though. We're friends.
Okay.
We have a lot of friends in common. I had a great relationship when I was playing against them.
Yeah.
I have he has a book called Rare Air. and he has some of the some of his most famous or his favorite pictures of that this famous photographer took throughout the years that he played.
Yes.
And one of the pictures, he's shooting a jumper and I'm blocking his shot. And
That's nice.
Yeah, and I remember blocking the shot, and he remembers that he didn't block it. So it's always this funny conversation of that picture. He posted that picture because it looks like I blocked his shot, but I didn't.
Oof.
So,
Yeah, his mentality is on another level.
well, I'll give you a quick stories.
All right.
So this is Game 3 in the playoffs, Miami against Chicago. He goes out and plays 36 holes of golf the day of the game. Everybody knew it. The press knew it. So we get to the game, and there's 25,000 people screaming, yelling. You can't even hear the coach talking. You can't hear the players. You can't hear anything. It was just wild. Mm-hmm. This is Miami playing Chicago, right? Michael Jordan goes scoreless the first quarter, 0 points, and we're up, I think, 15 points in that first quarter. One of my teammates, Glenn Rice, made the mistake of just looking at Michael during the end of that first quarter, just kind of looking at him, and went
Sending
to the
him a
bench.
message, basically.
And all Michael needed was that look, and he came back and scored 56 points in three quarters, and they beat us.
Wow, that's crazy. You know, like hearing those stories, you don't really, I mean, I guess like regular people can't really imagine what happens, but that's crazy.
Don't forget, also another point, the NBA back then, when Michael was playing and when I was playing, you can hand check. So you can have two hands on a player,
Yeah.
right? So the Jordan rules is to make sure you run three players and you have six hands on them. And he did all that damage with six hands on him. Now you can only have a forearm. So imagine the talent. Imagine what he can do with one forearm.
That's crazy. You know, I don't really like to compare two eras. But do you think that Rony Seikaly in this era would have been like a better player because of the rules that changed?
You never know.
You never know.
You never know, because back then the positions were everybody had their roles. Mm-hmm. Like the point guard's position is to get everybody involved. The two guards position was to get that open shot. The three guy was the slasher, whatever. The four was the rebounder and the kind of the menace guy. And the five was the center. So you had defined roles. I kind of like it more. Like, you know, you could just like, now everything is so interchangeable. You don't know who's who, you know? And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just, it made a lot more sense back then because everybody had a defined role, and you get basically, you know, you get compared to other players based on your role.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rony, did you like playing basketball? Because nowadays we look like Nikola Jokic, you know, 3 times MVP, or Anthony Edwards, that might be the face of the league in a few years. They go out there on social media and they're like, yeah, we don't like basketball, we're good at it. Were you like that or no?
This goes back to what I told you earlier. When you're playing at a high level, at a professional level, especially like with the pressure that comes with the NBA, it's not that you don't like it. It's just that you feel it's a business.
It's a job.
It's a job. It's a business. You can be up here one day, you can be down there one day. There's nobody's gonna come and hold your hand, tell you it's all good. You know, it's like you give me what you give me, and if you don't, you're gonna be out.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, even in like, you know, in practices. Just think about it. All these guys are from inner city, right? So their way out of the inner city is to get their families out and to get their friends out and to get everybody out.
True.
Is to make it to the NBA.
True.
So, and you got a player that's playing ahead of them.
Yeah.
So practices are hard. Practices are not easy. This guy's trying to take your job.
Facts.
Every game, every day of practice, that guy's trying to take your job. So if he hurts you or you fall down, it's too bad.
Yeah. You know, talking about inner city and people trying to make out, how did you manage your money? You know, like back then, you didn't have no financial advisor like you have now.
I mean, that's a whole nother story, but when I started playing basketball as a kid, my parents or my dad basically said, this is something that you do after school. This is not something that you do as a living. And I said, well, I'm doing this for a living.
True.
So that was a turning point in my life. I think I was like maybe 15 or 16 years old. Because as it is, you know, our culture is, you know, you get a degree, you become an engineer, a doctor, whatever, you know, one of the above. And I wanted to be a basketball player. So he said, that's not happening. So I said, yes, it is happening. He says, well, basically, I'm cutting you off. So I said, perfect, cut me off because I'll never ask for another dollar in my life.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of my journey. And never taken another dollar from my father or my parents or my family or anything. So in the back of my mind, I always had that business acumen to understand that if somebody's going to manage my money, they better know a lot more than I do. The mistake that these guys make is that they come out of the inner city with their boys and their cousins, and all of a sudden that guy that's never seen any money is his business manager.
Yeah.
And then his cousin who's never managed anything is, you know, another manager that's in charge of his investments. So 3-4 years out of the league and you're kind of broke. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's all relative. So if you make $10 million, you're buying a house for $5. If you're making $100 million, you're buying a $50 million house. It's all relative. So, you know, they say that I mean, for a guy like Antoine Walker, I think he made maybe $150, $200 million in his career, and to be broke, and people wonder why. Now, the NBA does a great job of bringing ex-players during practices.
Okay.
And these players sit and talk to the players and they say, do not be me. Don't be me. I thought the money was going to last forever. I thought that I was going to be this. I wanted 3 cars and I wanted whatever. So, and I'm just standing here because the guy that used to come and stand in front of us, I never listened to. So I'm here to tell you, listen to me. And obviously nobody listens, at least at that time. Yeah. So I always thought that I was like just an injury away from what am I going to do next. So I started preparing what am I going to do next at that time.
That's cool. Rony, I want to switch a little bit and talk a bit of Lebanese basketball. Why do you think none other than you made it to the league from Lebanon? Is it because we're a small country?
I mean, I came from the country.
Okay.
I came from the country when there was nothing. You know, you didn't even have basketball courts back then. It was so rare to have a basketball court. So there is no, listen, today, if you're talented and good enough, teams will find you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're in Zimbabwe or in some Dinka camp in Sudan.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, people will find you.
Yeah.
I think that it takes a lot of mental anguish to make it to that level. And don't forget that between here and the NBA, you have a whole European league. So if you're not going to make it here, or if you don't want to play in Lebanon, you don't play in, forget China and all these places. If you want a stepping stone to get to the NBA, you got to go play in Europe as a foreigner. So if you play in Europe as a foreigner, now you're upgraded to another level.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if players are hungry enough and willing to sacrifice. It's a lot of sacrifice, man. You're not going to see your family. You're not going to see anybody. You're lonely. You're on the road. You're constantly on the plane, hotels. You go to sleep. You wake up. You don't know where you are, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm in Milwaukee or I'm in Detroit. So you don't see your family. There's no Christmas. There's no your birthday. There's no parties. There's no nothing. You're on a schedule like a circus. You're from one city to the next, to the next, to the next, and you're performing when everybody's on vacation to give them entertainment.
Yeah.
So it is a hard life.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you ask me, would I want my kid to go through what I did? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can understand. That's why I always say to the people, like, I really respect those overseas players, same the Americans coming to us, because they don't see their family anymore.
Yeah.
No Christmases, no breaks.
You won't see your kids. You're not going to spend any time with your kids. You're not going to see your wife. You're not going to spend any time with your wife. Because don't forget, you got to be in the gym. And most likely you'll have injuries. Nobody's 100% healthy. So between injuries and having to do your physical therapy and your gym workouts, and then you got to do your shooting workouts, and then you got to play the actual practice, and then you get on the plane, and you were flying, and you practice, and that's your life.
So, is that the reason why we didn't really see Rony with the Lebanese national team?
No, I think that I did play with the national team, actually.
I know.
Yeah. But there was a couple of problems with that.
Okay.
Number one, I had already played for the U.S. national team.
Okay.
So according to FIBA, once you play for a country, you're not allowed to play for another country.
True.
So I played for the U.S. national team in 1986 in the World Championships. We won the gold medal.
Okay.
And basketball, this was in the middle of the war here. So basketball became big in the 90s. And by that time, I couldn't get FIBA to give me a release to play until I finally almost retired from the game.
Okay.
That they allowed me to play. This West Asia Basketball Federation had already been like 15 years that I hadn't played for the U.S. national team. So they finally okayed it, but it was never that. Number one. Number two, I think that the Federation is a bunch of clowns.
Okay.
I think that they don't understand anything about the game. They don't understand. It's all about themselves being seen instead of developing the game.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's almost like the whole, everything's you gotta like just rework everything from the foundation up. Mm-hmm. Because that foundation that you build for our future players have to be built on something tangible, real, something that gives players hope, future, that somebody's looking out for them. It's not, the players, I'm the guy and these guys are nothing. Well, you're not playing. You're not doing anything. You're not even bringing good coaches. You're not facilitating good courts. To me, I'll never forget this. I came to visit the Minister of Sports. This is in my heyday in the NBA.
Okay.
I came to visit the Minister of Sports. They had made an appointment for me to go visit him. I walk in to visit this guy. First of all, I don't think he has a clue who I am. All he does is he looks up at me. He's like, "Oh my God, you're so big." And I looked at him and said, "Yes." He's like, do you box as well? I said, "Do I box?" "What do you mean, do I box?" He's like, "Well, because you're so big, maybe you can box too." I knew right there and then, like, what the fuck does this guy know about sports? How can you have some idiot run the culture and the sports in this country, not knowing who the guy that's carrying your flag at the biggest stage, and you're asking me if I should box too? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Did he ask you what's in it for him too, as money?
I'm sure that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I tell you, like, this was the mentality back then. I don't know. I mean, the last I knew is you just have to kind of just like rework everything. You gotta like, you know, I don't know, you know, like the Lebanese Federation. What did the Lebanese Federation ever do for me to give back to them?
Sure.
They've absolutely given me nothing.
Yeah.
When I played for them during this this Asian Cup, I lost my NBA contract.
Yeah.
I lost it because I played on the national team with a broken foot.
Oof.
And because I had promised them I would play for them. And when I got back to the States, I had to have 6 screws put into my foot. So, and they said, we're not paying you your contract because you broke your foot playing in Lebanon. Do you think
Wow.
that anybody from this Lebanese Federation called up and said, we got you.
Got you. Yeah, no.
We'll take care of it. Let's let us talk to this one or talk to that one, or well, you have insurance, or you don't anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know, I feel like they've changed, you know.
I hope so.
No, they've changed. They've
I hope
changed.
so.
We can see that they're really working on the youth now. And for me, this is like the most important, you know, because I feel like my generation, and whoever is close to me, it's too late. But working on the youth is the most important now. And I think they're doing a great job at doing that. You know?
I hope so. I really hope so. And I want to make sure that the youth actually understand that the only way you're gonna succeed is by failing.
Yeah.
If you don't learn how to fail, you will never succeed, because you won't know how to succeed if you don't fail.
Exactly.
So if you fail, take it upon yourself as a challenge that, okay, I need to get better because they were making me go left and they cut my game off. So guess what? I'm going into the gym and I'm just going to go play with my left hand the whole time. I'm going to brush my teeth with my left hand. I'm going to open the door with my left hand. I'm going to turn the car on with my left hand. I'm just going to use my left hand and put my right hand away.
True.
And that's the only way you develop your weakness, because at the end of the day, it's not about your strengths. It's about your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And if you bring your weaknesses up to the level of your strengths, then you'll be unstoppable.
Yeah. Rony, did you actually play with Sagesse also a little bit?
No. I just used to go, I practiced with them.
Okay.
And I would practice with Riyadi as well.
Okay.
I would practice with everybody. I would just, you know, I would go around and practice with everybody.
Because, you know, funny story, Anxi, which is the CEO of LBA, has a T-shirt signed from you, like a Sagesse T-shirt.
Yeah.
He still got it.
Because I went to, don't forget that I was practicing with all these guys. So they all you know, very good friends of mine, especially on that team that was winning everything back then in Asia. So I was there on the bench participating in their success, even though I didn't have anything to do with it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I did practice, you know, pushing these people.
For sure.
You know, but yeah, it was just more of a fan and giving support to a team that was excelling at the time.
For sure. I saw a little footage of you and Elim Shanta a few days ago, I guess.
Yes.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah.
A cool moment.
An amazing moment. Amazing moment. I think Eli was the first of that generation to take the game to another level. And it's kind of, you know, it's he's the, you know, he's the guy that changed basketball in this country.
Yeah, I believe so too.
You know, he's the one that put basketball on the map. And then, of course, Fadi came after.
For sure.
And then, you know, took it to another level, and then saw other players today. And, you know, the game is getting better and better. But it takes that one guy. And Eli was that one guy.
Exactly. How did you get into the music industry?
So the music industry, everybody thinks that it just happened overnight, but I always, the only escape that I've always had is music.
Okay.
So I've been doing this music thing since I was 14 years old. And I would always have decks at the house and I would always play music.
Oh, since back then?
Back then. So when I was playing in high school, we were playing against the American school in London, American school in Paris, and London, you know, all the Americans, different schools. In the tournaments, we would host all these players, and I would host all these players in my parents' garage that I've turned into a club. and I would DJ for them.
That's cool.
So the DJing thing is actually, Eli and I were laughing about it because Eli knew when I was in the middle of my NBA career, I would always play music. I would always play music. And he's like, these guys are just realizing now that you know your love for music, but I've known it, and people that know me have known it, that the only thing is that I never wanted it to be I didn't want to go public with it. I always thought that this is something that I love doing in private, and I never wanted to go public with my DJing. And I just didn't feel like I needed to get judged, and people were going to talk about me, and people were going to say, "What the fuck is he doing? Why is he doing this? He's messing up his legacy. He's messing up this. He's messing up that."
Yeah.
But as soon as I hear all these things, it just gives me that extra juice to say, "Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Let me show you what I can do."
Exactly. Are you a resident somewhere?
I'm a resident at the Church of House Music, which is Circo Loco DC10 in Ibiza.
Tough.
So that is the mecca for DJs. So basically, you can play anywhere in the world, but it doesn't necessarily give you the accessibility to play at that place. But if you play at that place, then you can play anywhere
else.
Yeah. So it is absolutely was a dream of mine. It's almost like playing at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
You know, the mecca of basketball is Madison Square Garden. So the big stage is that's the big stage. So I got my residency there. I play 7 times, 7 straight Mondays.
Okay.
Starting next week. And listen, people think this happened overnight. This has been a lot of work. A lot of hours. I've dedicated a lot of hours making music, listening to music. And so it's not something that, he decided to become a DJ and now he's playing here and there. No, there's 15 years of bullshit that came with it. Of everybody saying, what the fuck does he know about basketball? About music. He's a basketball player. Does he know about music? What does he know?
Well, I love it. You know, like I'm a big fan of you in basketball. I'm a big fan of you as DJ. I'm always behind you, by the way. Whenever you play in Lebanon, I'm always right here dancing. I love it, man. I swear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, it's especially, listen, the first few times I played in Lebanon, it was not easy. It wasn't easy. People thought, like, what the hell's going on with this guy? Like, why is he losing? Why is he doing this? And people think that I'm doing it for the money. But believe me, it costs me more to play than to make. You know what I mean? So I do this purely out of love for the game, for the music and for that. I've been blessed to give people happiness when I play, to those people that receive it.
Yeah.
Not everybody understands it. Not everybody's gonna love your music. That's all good. But if you can make 10 people happy, if you can put a smile on a few people's face at the end of the night, you've done your job to make that person's night a better night.
Yeah. What's the difference between the basketball crowd and like the people dancing in front of you? Which one do you prefer? As you know, like.
I mean, I'm super happy that it's worked out this way, because I don't think it's going to work out the other way. It's two different things.
Yeah.
One is it's like I tell people, like, you know, it's imagine if I'm DJing and there's a row of reporters sitting there and you're televised and everybody is questioning every single thing you do between mixes and effects and song selection, and everybody's criticizing you and everybody's writing about it. That would be what basketball is.
Yeah.
But playing music, for me, I can go play in front of 10,000 people, and doesn't, you know, just the pressure of playing is so far less than it is playing basketball. that it becomes a lot more fun for me. So one is a lot of pressure, and the other one is purely out of love.
Love it. Rony, after having those two successful careers, what's next for you?
What's next to me? I'll tell you one thing. I'm not gonna stop with. I always, I'm always busy doing something. So
Okay.
I mean, I do have a third career, and that's in the business world and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Okay. Last question. Do you have something else to say to the people, like a message for the basketball community here?
A message. Again, my message to all the young kids and everybody else is don't let anybody shit on your dreams.
Okay.
If you feel it in your heart and you're putting in the work and you wake up every morning holding on to a ball, dribbling to school, coming back home, watching games, working on your weaknesses, and you feel it, don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Because if you got talent and you have work ethic, you will make it.
Okay.
But you need both. You can't make it with one.
Rony, thank you so much for this beautiful message. So Autograph Empire has a gift for you, which is a Mike Tyson glove, personally signed for you. So that's your gift.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Rony and Jad, what can I say? It was a pleasure having you. You're a legend for us. You're one of the greats. I'm personally overwhelmed. I think the NBA team too. And Jad, thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure. And use my experience, use what I have to offer all these years. It's to help others. I want to help others, but you need to want to be helped.
For sure.
And let me help you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rony.
You got it.
I want to give a special shout out to Mavens, to Autograph Empire. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share with your loved ones. It's a wrap. Thank you so much.